What's going on, everyone? Let's talk about Domantas Sabonis because he is having a very good season. He's been having very good seasons for a while now, and it's kind of begs the question of like, is he kind of underrated? Right? He's not really in the conversation much, especially in like the media side and just in general about like being a top big man in this league. But he's leading the league this season in triple doubles, which isn't easy to do. He leads the league in 23 triple doubles. He's coming off of a triple double against the Lakers. Absolutely just dominated and abused Anthony Davis and has done that with regularity. I mean, Sabonis is now officially 10-0 against Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis is looked at as, a top 3 center in the league, top 4 big man if you include Giannis, right? Amongst the big man group, right? You think like Jokic, Giannis, Joel Embiid, and then Anthony Davis, right? And you could put Giannis ahead of Joel Embiid. You could put Joel Embiid ahead of Giannis, however you do your ranking for the big men. But then who's next? I think you can make a genuine argument right now, at least, that Sabonis is up there, right? Maybe Chet and Victor Wembanyama and guys like that will eventually overtake that spot and be in the conversation as best big man in the league. But what Sabonis has been able to do year in and year out, I mean, for his career, he's a 16, 5, and 10 guy. The last, literally 6 seasons, he's averaged 18 or more per game, dating back to Indiana. Outside of his rookie season with the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's averaged at least double digits in scoring every season. The guy he's a just nearly walking triple-double at a big man position, right? This season, 64 games played, all 64 started. He's playing 36 minutes a game or just a hair under. He's averaging a total of 20 points, a steal, half a block, right? Well, we'll be nice to round it up because it's a little more than half a block to 1 block. So 1 steal, 1 block. He's averaging 8.4 assists, 13.5 rebounds, leading the league in that department. He's shooting 70% from the foul line. He has an EFG of 63.2%. He's shooting 63.3% on 2-point range, and he's shooting 42% from 3. Now, he doesn't take a ton of threes. He averages about 1.1 attempts per game, but still shooting at a 42% clip, shooting the occasional 3 for a big man, and his ability to stretch the floor is big. Usually when he's on that high, post or high 3-point line or free throw extended, he's usually looking to make plays, looking to run your offense. But he's a guy that in many ways is kind of like a poor man Jokic, right? Like Jokic just does it at such a higher level. Like it's insane what the magnitude in which Jokic is able to deliver it on a regular basis. But outside of Jokic, what other center is putting up anything close to what Sabonis is doing on just the efficiency as well as the all-around game? Obviously, he has a little concerns about the defensive side of things, but so does guys like Jokic and Joel Embiid, and outside of Anthony Davis and Victor Wembanyama and Giannis and even Chet to a little extent, none of the centers in the league are these powerhouses on the defensive side of things, right? You got a Rudy Gobert, but he's not the playmaker. Sabonis, much like Jokic, and again, Jokic is the big brother, little brother type thing, but just like Jokic is, Sabonis is a one-man offense in so many ways and is a real engine for Sacramento and just everything that he does. And his ability to score on the block, his ability to shoot from pretty much anywhere on the court, his ability to make plays and find the open man and play the inside-out game, right? And some of the passes and plays that he makes are just spectacular. I mean, seriously. And then to be dropping triple doubles every other game, again, you're talking about almost half the games this season he's played, he's averaged a triple-double. That's crazy for a big man this season. And you'd see guys like Jokic and many of these other big men, Joel Embiid and stuff, like they'll get all the praise for doing certain things. And rightfully so, they should. But then like you just never hear really any murmurs about Sabonis and what he's able to do on the basketball court, right? And a lot of it is just, the record of Sacramento. I mean, they're hanging on by the hair of their chinny chin chin to the 6th seed. But I mean, even last year when they were the 2 seed, right? Like, it's like you see Sacramento, it's like, where's the love? Like, where's the, hey man, like this team is doing real things, right? It's like, man, this team really is making moves. And it's like Sacramento's the best team in the league, had like a super like all-time great offensive rating, and a lot of that was Sabonis. And then you go and what? He just gets no love, no attention, right? And it's like, why isn't he in the conversation with some of these other big men, even as like the 5th, 6th best big man, regardless of how it is, right? And I understand some of it is the playoffs, right? Like there's a real concern about his production come the playoffs, right? Like you see him during the regular season, and then you've seen him just have this drastic drop off once you get to the playoffs. But like even in last year's playoff run, which he had his struggles, don't get me wrong. There were games where he looked awful. Got in foul trouble. Draymond Green was giving him fits and giving him trouble, right? He's got to kind of navigate that, but he doesn't have like a ton of playoff experience. Sometimes you have to go through the grind. He made it his first year with OKC, but he only played 2 games and averaged like 3 minutes per game, so can't really count that. The only time that he really had any type of opportunity in the playoffs was in 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019. And during that stretch, he only had 11 games total. He averaged about 24 minutes per game during that time. And 1 year he gave you 12, and 5, and 1. And then the other year with Indiana in 2018, 2019, he gave you 8.5, 7.5, and 4, which isn't great, but it isn't bad, especially given the circumstances. He's age 22. It's his 3rd year in the league. Like, give him some opportunity to kind of see what he can do. And then you got the postseason last year in the 2022-2023 season, in which he played 7 games, played 34.7 minutes, was a key component. He shot 50% from the field. From 3-point range was terrible, 20%. But he didn't even take 1 attempt per game, so I don't know how much you can put into that. 51.1% from 2-point range, had an EFG of 50%. Free throws were atrocious in the playoffs. Like, that was one of the big concerns with him, was like, dude, he's got to be able to make his free throws. He only shot 58%. But he gave you 16.5 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, 1 block, 3.7 turnovers, right? Like, turnovers, got to do a better job taking care of the ball, right? But again, that was credit to Draymond Green, really gave him fits. And I understand that there's like this perception of like, oh, he can't get it done in the playoffs. But again, he hasn't really had the opportunities yet, right? Like, we've seen lots of guys have Steph even, to use him as an example, was looked at as a guy that can't show up in the playoffs, right? He had this perception of like, oh, it's the playoffs, big game, big moment, he's going to disappear. Like guys like Jason Tatum, James Harden, like there's tons of guys that have been superstars that there have been questions of him being in the playoffs, and they had much larger sample sizes than Sabonis, right? To me, like, let's see what happens in this year's playoffs and when he gets in, or in the play-in tournament or whatever, and see what does he provide, what level does he perform at, right? Sometimes you got to go through the struggles and kind of take your lumps. I don't know. I really like Sabonis. I really like his game. I just think, just watching him play and really watching him just out there on the basketball court, being able to do so much and being such a key component to that Kings team. Look, I've watched, followed, and talked about Sacramento a lot the last 2 years, right? When I made a video before last season, not this season, last season, where I basically almost verbatim got exactly what Sacramento would do, like correct. Like, it was like uncanny. It was even surprising to me how accurate I was about Sacramento. So a pretty good gauge on Sacramento. And even this year, same thing. I said that I didn't think that I thought that they'd be struggled. Like the hype kind of died down, right? But Sabonis, I just think he deserves a little more love. And, I think just the 10-0 against Anthony Davis is something. I definitely do. I mean, Anthony Davis has struggled, period, against these like bigger, more physical European centers. So I think that that's something that is also an issue for Anthony Davis. But I also think Sabonis deserves a ton of credit in that regard. And what he's able to do and create, and he's still extremely young. He still has many years in this league. Right? I'm excited for his future, is my point. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that, like Sabonis, he deserves more love? He's underrated. Do you think he's about rated? Think he's underrated? You just never really hear them ever talk about Sabonis very much. I mean, he was talked about more last season than he was this season, but I think he's having a better season this year. But anyway, again, how do you feel? What your thoughts are? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.